This is the story of a person who fought for life and death in the world's largest and most merciless sea, the Pacific Ocean, for more than 400 days, set a world record, and came back alive after 14 months. But what happened as soon as he had to go to jail? Know the full story in this video? People sweat as soon as they hear the name of the Pacific Ocean. See, 71% of the water in the world is divided into 4 oceans, whose names are Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Arctic. The largest ocean is the Pacific. It is so big that some parts of the land, which make up 165 million square kilometers, could be swallowed by the ocean's 148 million square kilometers alone. There are only a few islands on this ocean which are very small, and some islands where no human being has ever been. Now, if a person is lost by mistake, it is almost impossible to find them. The name of a person who lived for 14 months in the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Pacific Ocean was Josh Salvador Elvaranga. This remarkable individual had a 7-foot small boat named Jess, a vessel that would become both his sanctuary and his prison. He could not afford to be late directly, and this man managed to stay alive on this tiny boat for more than 1 grueling year, battling the elements and his own fears. He fought the ruthlessness of the sea, enduring storms and relentless waves, and in doing so, he created a world record that no other human being has broken to date. His story is one of unparalleled endurance and sheer willpower. Josh was only forced by his luck that he got stuck in this stone difficulty. It was a twist of fate that led him into this dire situation, a test of his resilience and determination. This incredible journey began in the year 2012, a year that would forever change Josh's life. Josh was a 36-year-old experienced fisherman who lived in Mexico and worked in the coastal town of Costa Azul. He was well versed in the ways of the sea, having spent countless hours fishing and navigating the waters. On November 17, 2012, Josh and one of his companions, a fellow fisherman, set out to fish. It was supposed to be a routine trip, just another day at sea. As usual, they could not venture far on this small boat because the boat was very small and not equipped for long journeys. They stayed close to the shore, hoping for a good catch. Jez had an engine and only one small fridge, so they could only catch a limited amount of fish. The boat was modestly equipped, just enough for short fishing trips. Both decided to return in 30 hours, planning to head back to shore with their catch. Little did they know, this decision would mark the beginning of an extraordinary ordeal. Both leave, unaware of the challenges that lay ahead. 120 kilometers from the edge of Mexico, they are laying their nets in the sea, when suddenly a dangerous storm seems to be approaching. To save time, he leaves the same trick cabbage and drives the boat at full speed. Muslim 6. For hours, he was just 20 kilometers from the coastline, a mere speck in the vast expanse of the ocean. The sun was high, casting a shimmering path on the water, and the distant shore seemed almost within reach. When the engine of the boat suddenly deteriorated, the once steady hum of the motor sputtered and died, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. He tried to restart it, but the engine refused to come back to life. He was also seeing the edge, the thin line where the sky met the sea, and it felt like a cruel mirage. The shore was so close yet so far away, a tantalizing promise of safety and home. He had a radio, through which he sent his location to his boss, hoping for a quick rescue. The static-filled transmission was his lifeline, a fragile thread connecting him to the world he had left behind, and started waiting for the answer. Each second felt like an eternity, the silence of the radio amplifying his anxiety. He watched the horizon, praying for a sign of help. That the radio battery also became dead. His last link to the outside world was severed, leaving him truly alone. The realization hit him like a wave, cold and unforgiving. And on the other side, the storm was coming so strongly. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, a menacing wall of nature's fury. The wind picked up, whipping the waves into a frenzy, as if they would come out alive. The boat rocked violently, each wave threatening to capsize it. The storm was relentless, a force of nature that cared little for human life. That their boat started to get away from the edge. The shore, once so close, was now a distant memory, swallowed by the storm. But every passing moment, the boat of Josh went farther and farther away. The distance grew with each wave, the small boat becoming a speck on the horizon. Due to being a small boat, it was becoming more difficult to find them. The vastness of the ocean swallowed them, making the search a needle in a haystack endeavor. Seeing each other, both of them started thinking in their mind, the unspoken fear growing with each passing moment. The food was also over 2 days ago. Hunger gnawed at their stomachs, the lack of sustenance adding to their despair. The endless horizon stretched out before them, a vast expanse of water with no end in sight. The ocean, once a source of livelihood, had become a prison, its vastness a constant reminder of their isolation. One day, as the sun was setting, they spotted a distant ship on the horizon. Hope surged through them, a lifeline in the vast ocean. They waved frantically, praying that the ship would see them. The ship changed course, heading towards them. Relief washed over them as the ship drew closer, their ordeal finally coming to an end. They were pulled aboard, exhausted but alive. The crew of the ship provided them with food and water, and they were finally safe. The sun set over the ocean, casting a golden glow on the water. The storm had passed, and the sea was calm once more. They were grateful to be alive, and as the ship sailed towards the shore, they knew they would never forget the ordeal they had endured. Both of them were in a bad condition, struggling with hunger, their bodies weak and their spirits low. The endless expanse of the ocean offered no solace, only the harsh reality of their dire situation. When suddenly a bird came and sat on their boat, they looked at each other and immediately tried to catch the bird, but they couldn't. They knew this could be their chance. Another bird came shortly after. The sight of the bird brought a glimmer of hope to their eyes, a potential source of nourishment in the vast, empty sea. This time, they planned carefully and eventually succeeded. They set a trap with whatever materials they had on hand, using their ingenuity and desperation as their guide. When the bird was finally caught, it was a moment of triumph, a small victory in their ongoing battle for survival. Thus they survived by catching birds that came to their boat to satisfy their hunger. Each bird they caught was a lifeline, providing the much-needed protein and energy to keep them going. They ate every part of the bird, wasting nothing, understanding that every morsel was precious. Drinking the saline water of the sea can be deadly. The salt content in seawater can lead to severe dehydration, making their situation even worse. Because of this, they started storing rainwater in plastic bottles. They fashioned makeshift funnels and containers to capture every drop of rain that fell, knowing that fresh water was their most critical resource. They managed to stay alive by drinking rainwater, savoring each sip as if it were the finest drink in the world. The rainwater was a blessing, a gift from the heavens that kept them hydrated and hopeful. But when it didn't rain, they drank the blood of fish and turtles to quench their thirst. This was a last resort, a grim necessity to stave off dehydration when fresh water was unavailable. But that was only when they managed to catch them. Fishing and hunting for turtles became a daily ritual, a test of their skills and patience. Each successful catch was a moment of relief, a step closer to survival in the unforgiving ocean. The days passed, and both of them endured immense mental torture. It's very difficult for us to even imagine. Eventually, this torture became too much for Josh to bear. After 4 months, he committed suicide, leaving Josh alone on the boat, surrounded by water. Seeing this, Josh felt utterly hopeless, but fed up with his situation, he continued to live his life as best as he could. According to the maps, they were in a part of the Pacific Ocean that is considered one of the world's most silent areas, because only cargo ships pass through here. 6 months later, they reached the edge of Mexico.